What's going on, my fellow Kino Lords? Got Jeremy along with me this time because it's because of him that I got a special invite to go see M. Night Shyamalan's new film, Knock at the Cabin. First of all, disclaimer, this is going to be another full, raw, uncut review because my computer is still mush and is still getting fixed. But we're going to do our best and get through this thing in one take, so let's go. So yeah, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I'm going to come right out of the gate and say that I really enjoyed this film. For most people that know me, know that I actually dig M. Night Shyamalan quite a bit. I mean, you're not going to hear me, like, apologize for his really shitty movies. But, like, I think the guy's a really interesting filmmaker. And even when he puts out movies that are not good, at the very least, you can kind of commend the guy for trying to make something that is unique and fresh. Especially in Hollywood, you don't really get directors that are still just trying to do their own thing regardless of what everybody else thinks. So I think in terms of him as a filmmaker, that's quite refreshing. But yeah, that being said, let me get back to the film review. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot about this film that I really dug. The first thing that I'll say is that I love that it just gets to the point right out of the gate. This film wastes no time. Right from the get-go, this film is very engaging. The conflict is established. And it starts out with a really effective scene. And I think that's going to be something that's going to hook people instantly and people are going to like from this film. And it also gives us some pretty intense sequences. I think the suspense building in this film is really great. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I want to give Jeremy his turn to speak, but I don't think it's a flawless movie. There's plenty of things that I don't necessarily like about it. Runs into a lot of the same, like, Shyamalan-isms that we come to, that we just come to expect from him. But overall, I do think that this film is enjoyable, it is engaging, and from there, I'll just let Jeremy speak, but I enjoyed it.
No, yeah, like, I'm pretty much in a similar camp on this one. Yeah, no, I'm a Shyamalan fan. I very much have enjoyed a lot of his stuff. Unbreakable and Sixth Sense are like two of my favorite movies ever.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I was in the old review and I hated that movie, so that's kind of funny. But I know, like, when the guy hits, like, I think he really hits. Even when he doesn't hit completely, like, I think some of his films are still interesting, even if they aren't good or if they're just kind of a mixed bag. But no, yeah, like, I enjoyed this one quite a bit for the most part. Yeah, it has some writing issues, some dialogue here and there. It has some implausibilities for sure. And some of the, I guess, intricacies of the plot and, like, I guess what the characters are doing, I guess, to be vague.
Yeah. And,
but speaking of those, like, the four, like, I guess, more menacing, like, antagonistic forces of the film, I enjoyed how they were written. I think they were written to be more humanistic. Like, they weren't these larger-than-life figures looming over. Like, I think there's actually some, like, good comedy with them.
Yep.
Which, that's another thing. Like, this film's actually funnier than I expected it to be. It's not comedy, but, like, it's very tense when it needs to be, but it does have moments of levity for sure that really work. And there's lines of dialogue that, like, I guess in Shyamalan, like other Shyamalan films, would be, like, unintentionally funny. This spins more into an actual joke. Yeah. And I think it has more fun with that aspect, which was cool.
Yeah,
and just
absolutely.
Just like the acting for the most part is pretty solid. I think Dave Bautista actually is a lot better in this than I thought he would be.
Yeah, this might be, like, my favorite role from him, to be honest with you.
No, honestly, like, so far, yeah, like, he's pretty good in this, all things considered. Yeah, Jonathan Groff and Aldridge, like, they're both very good. I bought their chemistry a lot. Really, everyone, like, does a solid job for what they're handed.
The little girl, I thought, was pretty good for what she had to, deal with.
No, I mean, too.
She has to deal with, like, some pretty intense sequences, especially, like, at the beginning. And I mean, again, like, for a child actress, I think that she does a pretty damn good job.
No, I agree. Yeah, like, there's a few moments where I'm like, okay, like, maybe they could have had another take on that. But overall, like, she was pretty good. Like, I bought her performance for the most part. So yeah, like, no, I thought this was pretty good. Yeah, it's flawed. Like, it's by no means perfect. Like, it's a Shyamalan movie. It's still got plenty of his tropes and little things in there that are kind of annoying or just don't add up or whatever. Yeah. But no, like, for what it needed to be, like, this was pretty solid. Yeah,
like, in terms of what I didn't like in this movie, as I said, it runs into those Shyamalan-isms that we come to expect. There's lines of dialogue that are a bit over-explanatory. There's some dialogue and just some moments that just feel like not the most authentic thing ever. It definitely kind of feels like movie moment type of thing. And also there's these there's these moments that we see like on the news, and there's like it's trying to go for like found footage type of things. It almost kind of reminded me of something that we seen like from Happening, and it's just like it's just so I don't know how to explain this any better than just saying that it's just like captured in the most like inauthentic way, where you just don't buy it at all.
No, yeah, as I said like earlier, like when we were talking before the review, like it's also just like who's filming some of this stuff? Like there's just like random people's footage that are somehow like being looped onto this TV. Yeah,
and then like even more than that too, like just like the kind of reactions we see from the people on this footage doesn't make any sense. I'm not usually the kind of guy that gets hung up on how people react in movies, because I understand people react in different ways, but like some of this stuff is like unforgivable the way that it's done.
No, for sure, yeah.
So yeah, like the news found footage elements that we get, like, you know, sprinkled throughout the film, I was not a fan of. And you know, again, this film is everything that you kind of don't like about M. Night Shyamalan is present in this film, but it's kind of sparing with it compared to other films.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I think what works for this film really works, and like Jeremy said, there's actually a lot of humor in this film that I think works in its favor, because as he mentioned, it kind of humanizes the villains of this film and makes it, you know, makes them seem less cliche, and I think it really works. And yeah, so I would go into this movie, you know, expecting the Shyamalan-isms. That's not pretty much ever going to change, but I think most people will be surprised with, you know, how engaging and how effective this movie ends up being. Again, it's got those kind of silly moments you would expect, and in the third act, again, it kind of runs into some moments that explain a little too much about what it's going for, but overall I do think it is an enjoyable movie, and I enjoyed myself watching it. So, I mean, you want to add anything else, Jeremy?
No, I don't know. I think we pretty much covered it all.
All right. Well, that being said, we'll give grades. I was kind of struggling with this for a while, because in the theater, they gave us like a little cinema score card. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of can grade it there, but they only let you do letter grades, and it was kind of conflicting doing that. But I'll give this film a generous soft 7 out of 10.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say I'll be nicer. I had a really good time with this. I'll give it a we'll go strong 7. Fuck it.
7. Okay.
Nice. I had a really good time with this. For as flawed as it is, like, it did its job very well.
Absolutely. What this film does right, I think it really does right. And yeah, what it does wrong, it can be a little laughable. But I just think this film overall does it really does a lot right. And I'll definitely give it a lot of credit there. So, but that's it, guys. That's our review on Knock at the Cabin. It's not going to be available for everybody until Thursday night, but I recommend checking it out. I think most people would enjoy it. But that's it. Make sure, if you really enjoyed this video, to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be updated on more film related content. Peace.